Supreme Court closes Fourth Amendment loophole that lets cops seize guns without warrants. Yes, and this was unanimous, by the way. Even the hardcore lefties on the court were like, yeah, if you guys keep pushing like this, it's going to end badly for everybody, so we're going to have to keep you in check. In a unanimous decision, the U.S. Supreme Court Monday refused to give police an open-ended license to enter homes and seize firearms without a warrant. Allowing such searches, Justice Clarence Thomas wrote for the court in Caniglia versus Strom, would infringe on the very core of the Fourth Amendment, which guarantees the right of a man to retreat into his own home and there be free from unreasonable government intrusion. I am so glad that there's still a few people in this world that know what the Constitution is and actually respect it a little bit. It's pretty rare, but every once in a while it happens. Back in August of current year -6, Edward Caniglia was in a fierce argument with Kim, his wife of 22 years, after he made a joke about a coffee mug and his brother-in-law. Looking to end the row, Edward grabbed an unloaded handgun from the bathroom and asked Kim, why don't you just shoot me and put me out of my misery? She didn't. Instead, Kim decided to stay at a motel that night. The next morning, Kim tried calling Edward, no response. Concerned, she then asked the police in Cranston, Rhode Island, to check on her husband and to escort her home. No, I don't think she did anything wrong in this case. She thought maybe he would have Minecrafted himself. When officers arrived, Edward strongly denied he was suicidal. An instant report even stated that Edward seemed normal and was calm for the most part. After much cajoling by the officers and falsely promising not to take his guns, Edward underwent a psychiatric evaluation at a local hospital. There you go. That's the problem right there. This is why we keep telling you never talk to the police, because they will literally twist everything you say to add charges against you. And for definitely get a lawyer. And don't trust them either. God, I think I told this story before that I actually went on a ride-along with a cop. She was like flat out lying to this one dude. So the story here is some woman was claiming that an auto repair shop stole a $5,000 ring from the glove compartment of her car while it was in there for repairs. Yeah, I know. It sounds like a very likely story, doesn't it? And the guy was like, no one at my shop did that. We didn't even check the glove compartment. Why the fuck would there even be a $5,000 ring in the glove compartment of a fucking car? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And the cop kept telling him, like, oh, no, we just want to recover the ring. Just to let your guys know, like, oh, you won't get into any trouble. Just return it. And then, of course, as soon as we got back in the car, she's like, oh, yeah, if anyone actually turns it in, of course, we're going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. The cops are allowed to lie to you, so you can't trust them. Whenever the cops want to have a conversation with you, especially if they show up at your door, immediately shut up and call your lawyer. It doesn't matter. Even if they're asking the most innocuous questions, it doesn't matter. Always call your lawyer. While he was gone, police quickly entered his home and seized 2 handguns without a warrant. Even after Edward was discharged from the hospital later that same day, police refused to return the firearms and only relented when he filed a civil rights lawsuit in federal court. That is how you solve these problems. Critically, the guns were seized without Caniglia's consent, while law enforcement conceded it wasn't related to a crime or involved in any exigent circumstance, i.e. where people were in imminent danger or needed emergency assistance. Nevertheless, a district court and then First Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals upheld the seizures as a form of community caretaking. Yeah, very dangerous path they're going down right there. Almost 50 years ago, the Supreme Court in Cady versus Dombrowski ruled the police could search an impounded car without a warrant, creating a very narrow exception to the Fourth Amendment. Citing the frequency in which a vehicle can become disabled or involved in an accident on public highways, the court in Cady declared that towing and securing those vehicles against loss and theft may be described as community caretaking functions, totally divorced from the detection, investigation, or acquisition of evidence related to the violation of a criminal statute. And of course, they were using this case on completely unrelated ones to justify basically civil asset forfeiture. But the First Circuit instead saw community caretaking as a way to give elbow room to a police officer who must act as a master of all emergencies and is expected to provide an infinite variety of services to preserve and protect the community safety. Spoiler alert, they're called law enforcement, not protection. They're there to enforce the law on the peasant class, not protect them. Given such a broad expansion of law enforcement power, the court ruled the officer who seized Coniglia's guns without a warrant did not exceed the proper providence of the community caretaking responsibilities. Coniglia appealed to the Supreme Court, which granted his cert petition in November. Support for his case soon earned amicus briefs from groups all across the ideological spectrum, including the American Association of Suicidology. I had no idea suicidology was a word. Gun Owners of America, Institute for Justice, and the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, and the Second Amendment Law Center. Meanwhile, the Harris administration, as well as the state attorneys general for Iowa, Louisiana, Minnesota, Montana, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, and Utah, both separately defended the warrantless seizures as justified and urged the Supreme Court to rule against Coniglia. So, most important state on that list, Texas. The state attorney general of Texas, who all the tradcucks seem to believe is super based, apparently, decided that it should be fine to steal people's guns without a warrant. Think about that before you decide to move there. They decided in just 4 short pages. Justice Thomas rebuked the First Circuit for expanding community caretaking to beyond anything this court has recognized. Neither the holding nor logic of Cady justified that approach, he added. Though both cases centered around warrantless searches for firearms, the search in Cady occurred in an impounded vehicle, not a home, a constitutional difference that the opinion repeatedly stressed. What is reasonable for vehicles is different from what is reasonable for homes, Justice Thomas wrote. Oh, so here's the next question that's inevitably going to come up. What if you live out of your car? Does it count as a car or does it count as a home? I'm sure that case is going to come up sooner or later. Yeah, I would not expect, I would expect nothing else, to be honest. Justice Thomas wrote, this court has repeatedly declined to expand the scope of expectation or exceptions to warrant requirements to permit warrantless entry into the home, though the Supreme Court has previously recognized that police officers may perform civic tasks in modern society. This was not an open-ended license to perform them anywhere, the justice declared. Today, the court confirmed the government cannot enter someone's home without a warrant simply for the sake of convenience, said the Institute for Justice President Scott Bullock. In doing so, the court reaffirmed that people's property rights cannot be trumped by an extremely broad, vague concept of community caretaking. Now the government should have to pay him back all the money he spent on this lawsuit, because it's fucking sickening that this even had to go to the Supreme Court. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.